Class 5 composite restoration occurred on the cervical region of anterior and posterior teeth. This preparation and restoration requires application of cervical rubber and retainer to provide for additional retraction of the gingiva. The retainer has been applied carefully onto the tooth surface. The placement has been finished. Now the gingival retraction is being checked using an explorer. The preparation is started off using a straight fissure diamond. The cavity outline, form and shape is determined by the extent of the caries. The preparation is being done with a straight fissure diamond. Slowly it is being extended into the axial line angles of the tooth. The preparation depth into the dentine will be 0.2 mm into dentine in the crown portion and 0.5 to 0.75 mm into dentine in the root portion if the cavity margins are on the root surface. This preparation example is a conventional class-wide composite preparation design which requires a specific axial depth and line angle forms as an amalgam restoration. Preparation is being now refined with the straight fissure diamond. All the enamel margins are beveled using a flame shaped diamond. This beveling is contraindicated if the cavity margin is on the root surface. Beveling is continued. If required, an additional gingival retention groove could be placed on the gingivo-axial line angle, especially for cavity margins that extend onto the root surface. This is the final cavity preparation shape. This is followed by application of acid etchant for about 20 seconds, followed by thorough rinsing and drying of the preparation. Etchant has been applied and now it is being rinsed off. To remove all remnant etchant, it is now being dried. The cavity preparation is thoroughly dried. And this is followed by application of dentine bonding agent using an applicator tip. Slight amount of air is applied to prevent cooling of the dentine bonding agent, followed by light polymerization for 20 seconds, or according to manufacturer instruction it is followed. Composite placement is usually done in incremental layers. The first increment is placed and it is inserted to its place using a plastic filling instrument or a composite filling instrument into all the line angles so that there is no voids being present. The cavity insertion with composite is done in a thorough, diligent manner and it is being contoured properly so that the finishing procedure that will be done later will be minimized. Any excess is also removed. The smallest second increment is now placed to get the proper contour of the restoration. Again it is placed in its position using the plastic filling instrument. Any excess is now removed off. Composite is now being adapted over the cavo surface margin so that there is no excess or any deficiency in the cavo surface margin region. Contouring is done in a very diligent manner to minimize the finishing procedure that will be done later. Slowly it is adapted. Once satisfactory contour has been obtained. Light polymerization is done for 40 seconds or according to manufacturing instructions followed. An explorer is used to evaluate the KO surface margin for any excess or any deficiency which could be filled up at this stage. The contouring procedure started off using a tungsten carbide burr of 18 to 24 fluid. The contouring is done carefully so as not to remove too much of composite which could leave an underfill restoration. The rubber arm retraction is done using a blunt-end instrument like plastic filling instrument to get the burr past the axial angle of the tooth surface. Contouring with tungsten carbide burr is continued. Explorer is again used to evaluate the margin and the restoration for any voids or excess flash. A BP blade number 12 could be used to remove the excess flash of composite. This should be done in a very careful manner so as not to fracture the composite restoration or tear off the rubber dam. BP blade application is continued to remove the excess and any roughness could also be removed. Contouring is again initiated using a tungsten carbide 18 to 24 fluted burr. Composite is now again evaluated using explorer. This is done at each stage. The finishing and polishing procedure is done using rubber cups or rubber points of medium grits and proceeding to finer grits to impart the final smoothness and shininess to the restoration. Explorer again used at this stage also to evaluate the smoothness of the restoration. This is the final restoration with the dam in place. Now the cervical retainer could be removed to evaluate the gingival extension of the restoration or any gingival overhang or any voids or deficiency in the filling. An explorer is used for this manner. A rubber cup or rubber point could be used to remove this excess. The rubber cup is being used here. The blunt-end instrument is used to slightly retract the gingiva. And this is the finished restoration showing excellent contour, excellent shape and excellent shade matching. There is no discrepancy between the tooth surface and the restoration surface. Class 5 preparation and restoration could also be done without the application of rubber dam by the use of a gingival retraction card, which should be placed completely immersed into the gingival sulcus. The retraction card could be placed using an explorer. Once the retraction card has been completely immersed into the gingival sulcus, it is left there for 1 to 2 minutes, after which it is removed off and the gingival sulcus would have been widened for better accessibility after restoration of a class 5 lesion. The retraction card could also be placed with a cord packer rather than explorer. Retraction cord achieves two things: one, retraction of gingiva, and second will be hemostasis of the gingiva. Here the retraction card is now being placed with a blunt instrument like cord packer. As explained earlier, the retraction card should be completely immersed into the gingival sulcus in all the areas, both facially and lingually.